Hey guys, so this channel is about real estate investing, but I wanted to take a minute this morning and talk about a book that I recently read. So this book was called The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg, and I just finished this book, and after reading it I realized, wow, this could really help some of my friends out. So while this book isn't about real estate, I think it could be enormously helpful in helping you to reach your goals. So I've mentioned before that, well before I got started in real estate, I got really into personal development type stuff. And I think that has helped me tremendously in helping me reach my goals, just because I worked on the psychology and the motivation and all that side of it. So before I talk about this book, so I think it was probably 3 or 4 years ago, I read about this study called the marshmallow test. And if you haven't heard of that study, I would highly suggest just go onto YouTube, do a quick search, and you'll find hundreds of stuff about it. But the premise of this marshmallow test was, it was a psychologist, and he had a 4-year-old daughter, and he invited his daughter as well as some of her classmates, into his classroom, and basically he set up an experiment. And the experiment was, these kids were left in a room with a single marshmallow, and he told them, okay, I'm going to walk out of this room. You're going to have to sit here for 10 minutes. If when I come back after 10 minutes the marshmallow is still there, I will give you a second marshmallow. So it's basically an exercise in delayed gratification. So if these kids ate the marshmallow, they're only going to get the one. If they can delay gratification and wait the extra 10 minutes, they get a second marshmallow. And what they found was, he actually followed these kids later on in their lives, and he found out that the kids that delayed gratification and did not eat the marshmallow, they ended up actually doing better in just about every aspect of their lives. Their grades were better. They ended up being better relationships, better friendships. They felt better about life in general. They were happier. They were more wealthy. So in every measurable way that you can measure how good somebody's life is, the ability to delay gratification and do the hard things today that lead to a better life tomorrow makes a huge difference. And that's very much what this book is about. It's about learning how to establish good habits so that you can get the things done that you need to get done. So here's some of the key ideas from this book that I wanted to talk about. So the first one is that habits are powerful but delicate. So if you do not intentionally design your habits, they're going to emerge accidentally, and chances are if you're not purposely designing your habits, you're going to end up with some bad ones. So habits emerge gradually over time. That's the second one. So, the author talks about, he had this cookie problem where one day he was feeling hungry, so he basically went up to the cafeteria and he got a cookie. And then over time it turned into a daily habit, and those couple 100 calories extra a day end up putting on about 20 pounds. So it's just one of those things that very slowly over time, habits emerge and they solidify. So the next one is that there is a habit loop. So the habit loop starts with a cue. So for him, he had this cue about, in the afternoon, I'm feeling kind of bored. My blood sugar's down, so that was kind of this cue. The routine was to go up to the cafeteria, and then the reward was the cookie, right? So that's the habit loop. Idea number 4, habits can be changed. So there's 2 ways to change habits. So, let's say you're trying to cut down on your drinking. Well, maybe you have a group of friends that when you hang out with them, you tend to drink too much, and a lot of us do. So the first thing you can do is remove the cues. So if you remove yourself from a situation where you know that behavior is going to occur, that will do it. The second one is to replace the routine. So you can, replace a negative routine with a positive routine and also change the habit. Number 5 is belief solidifies new habits. So that's a pretty powerful one. So over time, when you establish good habits, you get to a point where they kind of become intrinsically motivating. So for me, exercise was a big one. So it used to be, when I first started, it was really difficult. And now just exercising is rewarding in itself, And I believe that I'm the type of person that exercises regularly, and it's no longer difficult for me because I have that belief. And then number 6 is keystone habits. Establish wins that lead to development of other good habits. And I'm going to use exercise again as an example there. So the daily win of reaching your goals, where I went to the gym today, I feel good about it. Just the routine of doing that, your mind will basically start to realize, hey, I'm the type of person that can meet these goals every day. And then when you're meeting goals in one area of your life, it makes it much easier to go out and crush goals in other aspects of your life. So there's certain habits like exercise that can become keystone habits that help you with other habits. Number 7, I think I talked about this already, but willpower is a learnable skill. So I've learned a lot about psychology over the last few years, and there's a book called Mindset by Charles Duhigg, which is another one I would highly recommend reading. But in psychology 5 or 6 years ago, they kind of thought that we're just born with a certain amount of intelligence and things like that. And what they've learned is our brains are greatly more plastic than what we previously thought. So if you've heard of the term neuroplasticity, our brains are constantly changing, and we can change just about any aspect of ourselves that we want to. So willpower being one of them. It's a learnable skill. You can develop willpower by learning some of these tricks. And then number 8 is, once you are aware of how your habits work, once you recognize the cues and rewards, you are halfway to changing them. So just the fact that you understand how this stuff works makes a huge difference, because you can start to become aware of it. You can start to realize, oh, these are the cues that cause this bad habit to happen. And then once you recognize that, you can design new ways of doing things to change it. So I'm going to try to tie this back to real estate a little bit. So one of the most difficult things in getting into real estate investing is that it takes a lot of effort and time, especially when you're first getting started. And your brain's going to put up a fight. So, for me, when I get home after a tough day of work, I'm tired, I'm worn out. And to start establishing a new routine and putting in the effort to do the things that are eventually going to lead to a much greater life, that's really difficult. So when you can learn about psychology and habits and things like that, it can make a big difference, because there's a lot of little tricks that you can use to make it go better. So that's all I have for today. Thank you.